So right in Ontario's industrial heartland, there's a perfect storm brewing. We're talking about landfills that are almost full, new regulations kicking in, and some really serious threats to cross-border trade. But what if the answer wasn't just finding a new place to dump waste, but actually turning that waste into a valuable asset? Let's dive into a new technology that's doing exactly that.
All right, here's the plan. First, we're going to unpack that perfect storm that's about to hit Ontario's industrial sector. Then we'll get into the really cool part, the digital refinery. After that, we'll look at how AI makes the whole system trustworthy, how it literally turns trash into treasure. And finally, what all of this means for the future of the economy.
Okay, so before we can really get into the solution, you've got to understand the sheer scale of the problem. And this isn't just one thing. It's like a ticking clock with a bunch of different alarms all set to go off at once.
This timeline really lays it all out. It's a series of deadlines creating what you could call a capacity cliff. First up, in 2026, a rule change just cuts off municipal waste services for thousands of businesses. At the very same time, the millions of tons of waste we send to Michigan every year are facing new trade risks. Then, by 2029, you can't even landfill clean wood anymore. And the final nail in the coffin? By 2034, there's literally no landfill space left.
So let's talk about the immediate hit. It's huge. On January 1st, 2026, thousands of businesses, we're talking industrial, commercial, and institutional, are suddenly orphaned. Their municipal trash pickup is just gone. This creates a massive new market of companies that are desperately searching for a solution, and fast. And on top of this local capacity crisis, there's this immense economic pressure from potential tariffs under the USMCA trade deal. We're talking about a potential 35% tariff on materials going across the border. That's a massive financial risk for anyone who relies on that Ontario to Michigan trade corridor. Okay, so that's the problem. It's big, it's complicated, and the clock is ticking. So how do we fix it? Well, that brings us to the digital refinery, which is a whole new way of looking at this problem.
And here it is. This is the 905 Wood Digital Refinery. And I want you to notice, it's not just a truck or a bin. This is a full-stack technology platform. It handles the whole shebang, the initial pickup, the complex logistics, and it goes all the way through to the regulatory and financial reporting. It's a complete end-to-end system built for this new world. And this right here, this is the crucial point. This isn't just about hauling trash more efficiently. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. 905 Wood thinks of itself as a financial technology platform, a fintech company that's designed to create and manage real, verifiable assets for the new bioeconomy.
Okay, but a system like this only works if you can trust it, right? How can you be absolutely sure that what one person calls clean wood is actually a valuable asset and not just a bunch of contaminated junk? Well, that's where the AI comes in.
It all starts right at the source, out in the field. Picture this, a driver, just using a regular smartphone, scans a bin full of wood. In less than 2 seconds, a powerful AI model running right on the phone can tell the difference between clean lumber and treated or contaminated pieces. It stops problems before the truck even starts its engine.
Okay, so once that material gets to a processing hub, it gets validated with real chemistry. We're talking sensors using X-rays and near-infrared light to scan for specific bad guys, like arsenic. That data then gets zapped into a back-end AI system that instantly checks the chemical signature against the actual literal law here in Ontario.
Now, the secret sauce that makes this possible is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. The easiest way to think about it is like a lawyer who has to look up the specific law in a law book before giving you advice. See, unlike some AIs that can just make stuff up or hallucinate, this system is legally grounded. Before it does anything, it has to first retrieve the actual text from Ontario's environmental regulations. That ensures its decisions are legally solid and completely explainable. So let's just walk through that workflow. Step 1, the AI reads and understands the law. Step 2, the sensors scan the waste. Step 3, the RAG system finds the exact rule that applies to what the sensors just found. And finally, Step 4, it automatically generates a legally sound certificate of origin. And just like that, you have an auditable, trustworthy digital paper trail for every single load. All right, so now we have trust. We've got clean, verified data. The big question is, what do you do with it? This is where the fintech part of the platform really shines, and where we see what was once a costly liability get turned into a real, verifiable asset. Think about how waste billing used to work.
You got a single, opaque, flat rate, right? You had no idea what you were really paying for. This new model uses what's called decoupled billing, and it flips that on its head. It breaks out the cost of hauling, the cost of disposal, and it shows a brand new line item, the CIRCIL levy. That's basically a surcharge for sending waste to a landfill. And all of a sudden, that cost isn't hidden anymore. It's transparent. And more importantly, it's avoidable.
And this is clever. They actually gamify the whole thing. The system has what they call a zero levy report card. The second the AI verifies that a load was successfully diverted from the landfill, the client can get a notification on their phone saying their levy for that load just dropped to $0. It makes saving money feel like winning a game. It's instant, positive feedback.
And trust me, the motivation to get that levy down to zero, it's about to get a whole lot stronger. The levy is expected to start at around $5 a ton in 2026, but it's projected to shoot up to $60 a ton within a decade. The financial reason to divert waste becomes more powerful every single year.
But wait, it gets even better. This system doesn't just save you money, it can actually make you money. By taking that clean wood and turning it into a super stable form of carbon called biochar, the system generates valuable carbon removal credits. The money from selling those credits is then shared back with the client as a carbon dividend.
And these aren't just small numbers we're talking about. For every single ton of dry wood that's processed this way, the system generates a carbon credit that's equivalent to permanently pulling 3/4 of a ton of CO2 right out of the atmosphere. That is a huge, valuable outcome from something that used to be, well, just trash. So, when you step back and look at all the pieces, the regulatory pressure, the AI verification, the financial incentives, you start to see the shape of a completely new economic model. It's one that's not just sustainable, but actually profitable.
Now, let's circle back to that huge 35% tariff risk we talked about at the beginning. Remember that? Well, this AI-generated certificate of origin is the key. It provides the verifiable, auditable proof that a material is a recycled feedstock, not waste. It basically creates a USMCA shield designed to de-risk that critical cross-border trade.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. The digital refinery takes this messy, chaotic pile of industrial waste and by using data, turns it into something clean, documented, and genuinely valuable. It's a total transformation.
And you have to understand, this isn't really just about wood. It's much bigger than that. What we're looking at here is the foundational infrastructure for a whole new circular bioeconomy. It's a blueprint for how you can stack logistics, intelligence, commerce, and compliance to build a much more resilient future.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. If a huge physical problem, like industrial waste, can basically be solved by treating it like a data problem, what other massive industrial liabilities out there are just waiting to be transformed into assets? And what will our economy look like when we start unlocking all of that hidden value?